What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub, make sure you hit the bell. Guys, on this video, I distinctly wanted to talk about Ancient Warriors. You guys already know about it being in the fray. It's coming back. They got 2 new support cards, so we're going to talk about that in this video. Make sure at the end of this video that you catch all of the details regarding the Emperor Penguin mat. It was officially on sale as of tomorrow, and one will be given away as soon as we cross 2,000 subscribers, so make sure you stay tuned to the details on that. With that being said, let's jump into this Beast Warrior archetype that's already existed and deep dive it a little bit. Let's go. So essentially, guys, these cards already exist, but I wanted to start off with these 2 to show how you really get into the other 2. As far as Sun Mu being the card that can actually search other Ancient Warriors, as well as flat out bounce cards on the field back to the hand, along with a card like 3 Visits that can pretty much search and special, you really have something that's really relatively solid, at least I'll say, to start off with. Now, essentially, guys, Fearsome is one of the old level 7s that actually exist, and Ingenuous Zooch Kong is one of the cards that's very similar to a Lapis Dragon style of effect or a Trickstar Lilybell. When it's added, you basically get to special summon it out. As far as the bigger level 7 monster, yes, you can show this kind of combo, you can show this kind of card inside of a combo and really get somewhere relatively mediocre, maybe, but we're going to showcase the new card, and that new card is Violent Dong. Let you get your laughs out of the way. Now that your laughs are out of the way, this card essentially allows you to grab another level 7 or higher that you can grab from your deck to your hand. Rebellious Lu Fang is one of the old cards as well that also has a really bad back effect that gets handed off to your opponent if it's not the highest attack on the field in the end phase. But that's not going to be a problem because most of the time you'll be linking it off. But as far as the new card essentially helping you to end on this, that's essentially what it's doing. That's the fast way to explain it. I don't really foresee any of the other effects mattering that much. But as far as Rebellious Lu Fang actually ending on the field, you get to destroy a face-up monster that your opponent controls with the highest attack once per turn, and that essentially can basically be Trident if you're worried about a monster. Now, as far as an extension of a combo, pretty much ending on the ETH by South, as well as the Link, as well as the Zooch Kong, as well as the Trident pop, you essentially have a full board for your opponent to deal with. East by South basically tells your opponent they can't respond to anything, and then if they actually can respond to anything, they're going to get popped anyway. So there's definitely something where your opponent is pretty much playing from behind if you actually get ahead like that. This is where this deck is actually a little bit underrated. I'm not going to put it on par with a deck like Infernoids or anything like that as far as random rogue deck that can smack the shit out of you, but this deck definitely can smack you a little bit, and you will get caught off guard by it. Deception and Betrayal is one of the new cards as well, and it allows you to special summon an Ancient Warrior from your hand, and if you do, you take damage. You additionally get to change attributes, which I find fascinating because it allows you to get more access to cards like Lightning Chidori, cards like Bahamut Shark to be able to go into it totally awesome. And then obviously if you have Rebellious Lu Fang that has been shifted control to your opponent, you get to snatch it back onto your side of the field. That's where Deception and Betrayal comes from, to explain the card and the lore and the artwork. Same thing pretty much in this combo though, guys. Again, you're searching for Violent Dong. Again, get your laughs out. But this time you're going to add the Ingenuous Zhong. But then you're going to extend immediately. And then from there, you're going to trigger off the card that you sent to the graveyard to continue a spell. 3 Visits. Obviously, some of these names, it's really hard to keep up with these names. I'll just say get used to like the color of these cards or something like that and just roll with that, guys. But you pretty much from there get to add Post Malone. Anyways, if you control 2 or more Ancient Warrior monsters, you get to special summon it out. And then from there, you get an additional interrupt. And pretty much the Post Malone looking card gets to attack twice. Now, in this specific combo, I'm showing something that you would try to end on going first, I guess. But you also, if you're pressuring through a board, I guess, or you would feel like maybe there's just the situation comes up where you want to make Shark and then Toad. Who knows? Maybe you want to make a Tornado Dragon right here. It's all up to you. It's going to be pretty much the same kind of swiveling thing on a combo. But this card, the Post Malone looking card, gets to attack twice. If you were going first, essentially, I would try to end on something like this and then special summon out something like Rebellious Lu Fang because you get to add it off of the Link. And then you have a pop as well as an ancient Link interruption and much more. as far as the Toad is concerned. As far as 3 visits, again, in this hand, I wanted to show it with the card Graceful Zalgong. And Graceful Zalgong essentially adds an Ancient Warrior spell, a trap, and additionally gets to negate a monster effect. Rebellious is, again, an extremely powerful card, but in this specific scenario, I'm just extending further. And again, I'm getting to trigger 3 visits. I then want to grab the Sun Mu, and then from there, he's Stratos, and you go extend from there. Sending that to the graveyard to then be able to search out Deception, and then from there, when that's triggered, you get to special summon out the Masterful Sun Mu. You then get to send another card to the grave to be able to add one of the new cards, the Violent Dawn card, and then activate the other new card, which is the Deception and Betrayal, and then extend directly into a board like that. And again, having stuff like this where you have pretty much a Masquerade Dragon style of effect, with Violent Dawn being able to burn your opponent for 400 or make them pay cost of 400. Very similar to Masquerade Dragon inside of the Despia deck. And additionally, if your opponent actually has a card on their side of the field, getting to pop it out of the way, you see how quickly that you can get big monsters on the board and put enormous pressure on your opponent. That is this deck, getting to put pressure on your opponent very, very rapidly. I do believe this is a go second deck, but I definitely feel like it can strangle your opponent and put them away very, very fast. But there's just enormous issues with this deck because sometimes you have to draw specific cards along with other unique cards that have to go along with those cards, and then the hand has to get perfect, and that becomes dependent, and that's just nowhere near meta. That's this deck's problem. It still has the same problem, but it's still an extremely powerful deck if it actually gets to go off on you. To wrap it up a little bit, I wanted to show one of the older combos. Obviously, Tinky or just Sun Mu in general gets you pretty much here. And then getting to send the Tinky is a beautiful thing. This is why I wanted to open Tinky to show you that. But it being at 1, it's just not as great as it used to be. But essentially, ending on boards like this is where you're always kind of going to be. Now, obviously, whatever you want to link off is going to matter because sometimes some of the effects of the monster that's on the field additionally corresponds to one of the continuous spells that is on the field or one of the continuous traps. I don't necessarily like the continuous traps, but they're definitely something that you have to read and make that own decision for yourself. But this being a going second deck, I just don't like the trap cards like that. But Sun Mu, again, is pretty much the wheels to everything, but him sitting on that side of the field in general is in and of himself an interruption. Having interruption is the most definite important thing that you could have. As far as fearsome, I definitely feel like it's still a one of. I've always only played one of. This is a deck that I occasionally play online, but only when I need a break from the meta. But this deck is slowly, and even with this new support, it's slowly creeping towards being more relevant each time they get handed support. But it definitely has enormous issues. As far as the ratios, again, you're going to have to work these out. And this is just my build and how I would play it. I play it to go second. That's what I said in the video a little bit earlier. And I definitely feel like all of these things are pretty much going to be up to you. Guys, that's pretty much all that I have. I'm just going to let the music play out and make sure you stay tuned for the announcement at the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think about this deck down in the comments. How close do you think it's getting to becoming meta? And I'll see you next time. I'm out. YG baby, Pegasus out. Enjoy the stylings. Hey guys, before you get out of here, make sure that you stay tuned, because as soon as we cross 2,000 subscribers, 2 lucky people will receive 1 amazing quality cloth mat, courtesy of MetaMats, courtesy of the Wise Guys TCG, and all will bow before Emperor Penguin. Make sure that you stay tuned so that you can hear the details. They'll be given out on the Owl's Nest, and they'll also be given out on the community page, as well as a YouTube video that night. Whenever that is, it will drop. 2 people will get a random number. It'll probably be a random number generator, and that's how we'll do it. Make sure that you stay tuned though. I'm out.